It's time to decide a champion in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's go time in Phoenix.
Clean start. I don't think anyone I saw dip below before the start-finish line.
F54 really drove in there, but look at Brandon able to get to the throttle. Gonna have the advantage on the outside. Now they're all facing the sun, and Parker mentioned it, how bad that is. Taylor Gray wasted no time, though, getting to the inside of his teammate, Brandon Jones.
And actually, Connor Zillich had to make a little bit of a move there to avoid Taylor Gray. They went into the braking zone for turn 3 as they were looking directly into that sun. He had a little wiggle in there, trying not to catch the rear bumper of Taylor Gray.
Last week's winner, trying to pick up where he left off. Taylor Gray, victorious for the first time in his career, Saturday evening at Martinsville. And dogging his teammate, who's won twice this year, and one time in his history at Phoenix, that would be Brandon Jones. Playoff drivers going at it here. The 7 is Justin Allgaier. That red and white number 2, Jesse Love in the outside lane.
But and the intensity in these races every week obviously ramps up when you get to the end, but even more so here. These guys will play nice right now, not being overly aggressive, but as this gets closer to the end, knowing that all you have to do is be the first of those 4 to win the championship, they'll put it all on the line. Interesting line, I think, out of Brandon Jones on new tires down in turns 1 and 2. We saw him not on the yellow line. We typically see the guys, as the run goes on, fade a little lower, but Brandon running higher.
We watch this battle between Justin Allgaier and Jesse Love. Notice Justin's not going through the shortcut there through the dog leg, staying on the racetrack. Could just be a little self-preservation decision.
The tires, right?
Like yeah, just taking care of the tires.
Yep.
They're low air pressure, not doing anything you don't need to do. He's able to make that pass on Jesse Love.
Sun is brutal down into turn 3.
Yep, this is our Goodyear onboard camera, riding with Eric Almirola, chasing an owner's championship, one here in the springtime.
Ooh, it looks like the 2 car's struggling a little bit.
You watch that race car, the 2 just walk up the racetrack. That was a great indication to Eric Almirola to drive to the inside, knowing he had more drive off.
Yeah, and this for Jesse Love is what I talked about, managing your emotions, because we felt like he maybe had one of the best cars in practice, but it's not translating to the start of the race right here. You see he's faded a little bit. Look how far the 7 of Allgaier is already ahead 1 lap. It's clear. The 19, oh, don't make contact.
That's tight.
Jamie, you referenced the fact it's not about winning the race for these guys racing for the championship. It's just about finishing in front of the other 3. With that, I take your eyes to our bumper. The championship 4 highlighted in purple, so you can monitor their progress all night long. Couple in the top 5 right now. Love has fallen to 7th, and Carson Kvapil back there in the 12th position.
Watch these 2 race side by side. It seems like Jesse's just been stuck on this outside with someone below him, and we think of all the confidence he had coming into this as we look back when they got real tight. Oh, little touch.
Contact.
Little touch there. You'll see that during the night. It's just maybe a little early for that, but this is a moment where, with all the confidence that Jesse Love had in that race car post-practice, you've got to reassess the situation right now. You've had other cars on the racetrack. The Cup cars qualify. The track's different than it was yesterday. Keep your head in the game and don't get down. You're going backwards a little bit right now, which looks like he's pretty loose.
Almirola finally comes through, has a little breathing room. He's 6th, Love is 7th. On board with a 2 here. Second-year driver from California. This is the Wheeling onboard camera.
Yeah, he's struggling in the middle of the corner right there. As we got a battle between the 2 teammates right here. Allgaier, and didn't show that short run speed in practice yesterday, but as you see here, just 7 laps in, the 7 car, so good here on the long run.
Side-by-side for position. I remind you, in qualifying today, they ran the exact same lap time to the 1,000th of a second. Both these guys hooked up. They're uber talented, and Allgaier able to slide by for the spot, give him 4th.
And if you're the 88, if you're Connor Zillich right there, behind him, it's size up. Where am I losing my lap time? Where is the 7 better than me? And you're immediately going to, discuss that with your crew chief of, look, this is where I was, getting beat at by the 7 car. This is where I think I need to be better.
Let's take a ride on the Red Bull onboard and just maybe see if we can see something here as we look at Jesse, what his car is doing as they go through 1 and 2.
Almost looks like he's a little bit tight. And what I always focus on, that orange line that you see on the steering wheel. As he drives into the corner, it's pretty smooth. Typically, if you're loose, you'll see him have to really feed it down into the corner, a little bit there. But when he gets to the middle, do you see how it's just staying steady? It tells me I think that car is probably just a tick on the tight side.
Back to the front. Teammates going after one another again. Taylor Gray in the 54, Brandon Jones in the 20.
You know, I mentioned the interesting line of Brandon Jones in the 20, run a little higher there. His teammate, Eric Almirola, was super fast here in the spring, and he was really able to run the high line. You got to wonder, is it the setup of the car? If that's something that they've been working on, studying on? As you see, the 54 was so fast.
I think he didn't need to go that high.
No,
right there. Brandon went way up the racetrack in 3 and 4. You'll see that in 1 and 2. It is harder to make the outside lane in 3 and 4 work. Right there, he just got way too high up.
Brandon Jones leading laps here today for the first time at Phoenix since March of 2022. But it's his young teammate that's on points. 12 laps in, we get to our Mobil 1 leaderboard. Gray, Jones, Creed, Allgaier, Zilich, the top 5 early in the desert. Test your luck and make your power play by heading to your local lottery retailer to get in the game for tonight's estimated Powerball jackpot of $400 million.
Parker and I already said if we win, we're splitting it.
Well,
and you're not in.
Carla as well.
Carla,
we're splitting
Parker,
3 ways.
400 million divides 4 ways a lot better than it does 3. Okay? Hey, final stage today. commercial-free.
Awesome.
Thanks to Xfinity. This is going to be such a great way to end the year and end the Xfinity era, and they've been a wonderful partner, and we have enjoyed it every step of the way.
If you like listening to Jay McMurray, you're going to get a lot more Jay McMurray at the third stage.
What about this guy? Taylor Gray goes out, runs his qualifying lap, comes off of the last turn. He just screams how bad it was, and his crew chief's like, P2, you're good.
But you know, he's not a championship driver tonight, and if you go back, he missed advancing to the round of 8 by 1 point, and then he wins last week, and I'm sure he'll replay that in his mind. The guy who's here kind of in his place, the one who drove his tail off at the end of the race at Martinsville, and that's Carson Kvapil. Started 14th, has worked his way to 9th, and you know, we've been saying, and he's been saying, I'm the underdog, but they're staying in the game early, Kim.
That's right. Didn't have the qualifying effort they wanted. Started 14th, and when I asked Carson what happened, he said, I just didn't have the pace. Honestly, I was surprised. Got out of the car and looked at the board and thought we had done better than that, but has made quick work of the competition, already up to the 9th position. They are set up very closely to what the 7 has, but the 7 has been good here at Phoenix with. Right now, just a little free. He said, I lose the rear through the center, but overall, not bad.
Yeah, we get to ride on board here with the #1 Bass Pro Shop Chevy. Get an idea of that sun. You see he's got that tinted visor on, trying to help a little bit with that Parker. See the balance of that car, just having to a little bit loose right there, getting back to the gas, chasing it up the racetrack. He's moved forward though, passing 5 cars. Not the quickest car right now, but heading in the right direction.
Yeah, as we're looking here at Nick Sanchez underneath Jesse Love, that's who's ahead of him right now. And I think for Carson Kvapil, when you have a bad qualifying like that compared to your competitors, the best thing that could happen is you have a little forward momentum at the start of the race. It just gives you wind in your sails. Exactly what he's been able to do here, up 5 spots, and he can see
he's
that
getting
48 and the 2.
That's exactly
right. When he got to see that 2, you know he was thinking, "Ooh, I'm in this."
Yeah, absolutely. Getting to see one of his competitors for this championship, it gives you a little bit of motivation, Adam.
Talking Jesse Love, he's back to 7th in the running order, Dylan.
Just has lost 1 spot since the start, but not exactly where he wants the race car to be after so much confidence earlier on. Take a listen on the radio what they're dealing with.
Pull your mic up closer, can't understand you. Talk about it later then. Biggest thing that I see is drive off. Need to wrap longer, exit lower.
And so that's exactly what Jesse has tried to do, specifically down here at this end in turns number 1 and 2. And the other thing, Jesse did come back on the radio and said, I'm free and lacking drive off the corner. So that's the main problem they're going to try to fix on the 2 when they hit pit road.
Oh, it's going to get real tight right here with Nick Sanchez.
Yeah,
and Jesse
Dawson
Love.
Cram, 74, get out of the way, look out.
Dawson did a good job moving up the racetrack, but that's interesting to hear from that report with Dylan, because Adam, when you and I were hanging out with Jesse Love this morning, what he told us about why that race car was so good was it turns really well and it had drive off. He goes, we found this in the sim and it worked perfectly in practice. Well, the reality is in the race it hasn't, so they've got to find something in that too.
And you sensed frustration. They wanted him to get his mic closer, because as we heard him trying to communicate, all you could hear was engine noise. I was like, well, I can't understand what he's saying here. And Danny Stockman, his crew chief, referenced that. The other thing about the 2 team that's a little bit unique is that you heard Stockman tell him, listen, you need to wrap the bottom longer. You're losing your lap time off. They're looking at all the data, and Jesse wants to be fed all the information he can so he can try to get better inside the car. And it's so frustrating to be good in practice, have the the day they did yesterday, and then start the race and be a little bit off. And it's the exact opposite of what we talked about with Carson Kvapil, where he's getting a sniff at Jesse Love and gets some motivation. It's deflating. Jesse can see those guys in front of him getting smaller, and he looks in his mirror and he can see the 1 Bass Pro Shop Chevy starting to catch him.
I would say, though, so much of this race is be in it in the final stage. Just hang around and hang around. And if you're in the top 10, you have put yourself in a good spot to be successful later on in the evening. Closing on 30 laps into this race, right of your screen, the Sieg brothers racing one another. Ryan is in the 41 this week because Sam Mayer was suspended after getting into it with Jeb Burton post-race at Martinsville. So Kyle Sieg moves from the 28 to the 39, and they're doing an outstanding job, 10th and 11th on track. And here comes younger bro saying, I got your ride, and I'm going by. This is outstanding.
That's amazing. You know he was sitting in there, Kyle's going, oh, if I could just get Ryan, I'm going to pass him his own car.
Stage 1 underway here at Phoenix. Leading this race is Taylor Gray. Justin Allgaier, the best of the championship 4. Back at Phoenix Raceway, aerial coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship race brought to you by the Lucas Oil helicopter. Taylor Gray leading, working lap traffic. Look who's right behind him. Sheldon Creed. Could we go 2 weeks in a row with a first-time winner? Gray last week. Creed's been so close so many times, including right here at Phoenix, and the double zero strong early.
It's incredible how low he's running.
Look out.
Jeb Burton's got a right front down.
This is interesting timing, too.
That's pretty big impact, too, right there.
8 to go on the stage, no caution yet, but you get a caution here. A lot of teams likely going to play some strategy, but he gets in.
One thing that could possibly cause caution when you see this at Phoenix, it can mean some sort of brake issue. We saw that from Daniel Dye yesterday down into turn 1. So sometimes those brake parts go over the racetrack, but so far it seems like we're staying green.
Tough break for Jeb Burton. Had been running well lately. 6th last week at Martinsville. His second top 10 in the last 4 races, but big time problems for the 27 here.
Well, and caution right now just shakes everything up.
Big
You know,
time.
for all these
Yep.
guys, especially the ones running for the championship, it just puts you in a, it could put you in a box. So
That's a shame for Jeb. He's had a really good season. They didn't quite make the playoffs, but they were very close.
I mean,
Look at the
almost
top
the
of your screen.
exact same place
Yeah,
that
but-
Daniel Dye hit the wall yesterday.
Boy, it's crazy. Very
Wow.
similar.
It's a great job getting that car off the racetrack here. Everyone avoiding him.
Yeah, he's just trying to get, he didn't mean to
Yeah.
go back up on the racetrack there. He's trying to get the car slowed down, and you can see no air in that front tire, suspension's all damaged.
I want you to take a look at our bumper, who's highlighted in purple, the Champ 4, and highlight the one of Carson Quapple, who qualified 14th, and he admitted, man, I was so disappointed in my lap, but look what he's doing. He's just picking them off one by one, has worked his way up to 7th, and he can see Sanchez out in front of him with 5 to go in this opening stage.
And Phoenix historically is an exceptionally hard track to pass at. So you have to have a really good car, and to do what he's been able to do past 7 cars, it sounds like he scuffed the wall a little bit right there through the dog leg.
You know, but he's got the #1 pit stall because of qualifying last week at Martinsville. So you work your way up close to the top 5, pick off a couple on pit road, and that's what this place is all about.
And Nick Sanchez has had a good car there in that Borchetta Bourbon Chevy as well. He's moved forward, so this is going to be a tough pass to make. And you watch from his Carson Quapple's onboard, you can see how loose Nick Sanchez was off the corners. But Carson's kind of not been able to make up this little bit of gap right here, sort of stabilized
But
behind Nick.
Carson's best friend are the 3 cars right in front of him that are lap cars right now, because as Nick tries to judge where they're going to go, if you can, you know, get the timing just right and get that momentum, be able to get a run on him, he's going to get held up right there by Garrett Smithley. See those guys cutting across the dog leg.
3 to go in the stage. 54, Taylor Gray's picked up where he left off last week, Dylan.
A quick Toyota driver update on the 54. Taylor said he didn't feel that great about their car after practice, but then he went back and looked at the data and said, maybe we're actually not so bad. I think they're delivering on that so far here in this opening stage. Spoke with Jason Ratcliffe, his crew chief, asked him if he believed in confidence moving forward after finally getting that monkey off their back and getting that first win. He said absolutely, would not be surprised to see the confidence showing up again in this driver this weekend. Looking good so far, and off to a good start for the 54 2 weeks in a row.
You know, stage points are not a thing tonight for these Championship 4 drivers. You just want to finish in front of the others. But as you talk about everybody and the lack of importance on stage points, you start really just thinking about the track position and where you are at the end of the stage and how it sets you up for success as we transfer on to stage 2. Final lap of this first stint of the race. Gray out in front of Creed, Allgaier, Zilich, and Sanchez, the top 5.
Gray's struggling right there. You saw him hit the apron in 3 and 4. See the back of that car sliding around. He's going to be thankful this is the last lap, because Sheldon Creed was about 2/10 quicker the last lap.
It's a long run. The tires fall off immensely here. It looks like he's going to be able to hold them off.
Got the black and white checkered flag to end the race at Martinsville. Gets the green and white checkered flag to wrap stage 1 at Phoenix. How about Taylor Gray? 3rd stage win of the season. Got stage victories at Atlanta and Dover earlier this year. Creed finished 2nd. Best playoff driver is Allgaier. Zilich also in the top 5. The other playoff guys, Quapple 6, Jesse Love 7. 1 stage down. Championship Saturday in the books. We're live in Phoenix. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series on CW. CW Sports coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by the Progressive Keys to Progress program, gifting cars to veterans in need. Toyota, let's go places. And by Credit One Bank, NASCAR American Express Car. Stage one complete for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here in Phoenix. The fastest growing cable network in all of television is News Nation. News Nation respects all Americans and is news for all Americans. To find News Nation on your screen, go to newsnationnow.com. Ready for pit stops? Always big here as you want to establish, maintain, create some track position. This place is just awesome. Progressive Pit Road is open. First in, race leader Taylor Gray. This is a very interesting pit road. Last week's winner. Oh! I thought he was going to drive by his pit stall.
Almost turned in too early.
As Taylor Gray gets his service, we go to Dylan Welch.
And there was a lot of discussion on the two-car Jesse Love. Ultimately, what they settled on for adjustments was just to help Jesse with his front turn and help his forward drive. That's exactly what they said their advantage was earlier in the weekend. They'll make a chassis adjustment. Justin Allgaier reported he was tight center and lost side bite as they ran. Kim?
You see Connor Zilic, bottom of your screen. He said a little snug, tight center, exit of 2. Feels like my right rear is hot. Asked for an air pressure and chassis adjustment. Top of your screen, Carson Quamble said, still a little race and tighten it up, but not too much. Balance is coming around. I don't want too much change. That is close to perfect. Just a slight air pressure adjustment for the one.
Race off Progressive Pit Road. We talk about the advantage of the #1 pit stall. Quapple does not get it done there. They fall way back. Zilic comes off second at +2. Creed and Allgaier each lose 1. Disappointment. Opening stop of the night for Carson Quapple will reset his running position and the rest of the championship 4 as we set up for stage 2 next from Phoenix on CW.
44% time. That's what you wrote.
Stage one is all wrapped up, so the Whelen caution lights are on. Whelen, the official warning lights of NASCAR, and America's most trusted manufacturer of emergency lights and sirens. A couple of things to reset as far as pit road goes. The one of Carson Kvapil is where we start.
Right, this is a little slow stop. One thing to note is this team is ranked 15th on pit road for this pit crew, so a little slow here on the right front. You'll see it's just a bit behind, has to hesitate there as the jack goes down, so that slows them up a little bit. Looks like he got them all tight, which is good. But then this #1 pit stall is probably the best place to be in terms of getting to the line, but you see he spins the tires. This was a problem last night for the Truck Series, and it was a problem last year. Teams try to make him grippier.
What about right here? We talked about the sun for the drivers on the track. What about getting in your pit stall? Look at Taylor Gray right there. He starts to turn in and realizes he's turned in too early. Let's take a listen to what Taylor said.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't see crap. Yes, should be better next time.
I'd say by the next time it will be better, Taylor. Yeah, he said it like we thought it.
I appreciate him cleaning it up for us.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
It's a family-friendly show.
Yeah, it's so good.
Kept it G-rated.
Great leader on the box, Jason Ratcliffe, who has won here and has won 59 times in his career. That's the best ever.
And obviously Taylor took the outside right here. That is the predominant preferred lane we'll see throughout the night. But when you get down those late race restarts, we've seen the inside prevail. It's pretty close, but you want early on to be on the outside.
You're vulnerable when you get down to turn one. If you're on the outside, the guy on the inside can use you up, and we've seen it happen more than not here.
Brendan Queen got the free pass. He's back on the lead lap. 27 cars on the lead lap as we begin our second stage. Two rookies on the front row. Controlling from the outside lane is Taylor Gray.
Big gaps between once you got past the front four.
Zilich down low, top playoff guy.
Wow.
Right behind him was Justin Allgaier, and there goes the 88 on point.
Taylor Gray has Junior Motorsports all over him right there. The 88 really drove in there deep, kind of stopped through the middle and slowed down any pass that Taylor Gray was going to have on the outside.
Are we going to make it 3 wide here?
Why not? Look at Sheldon.
Custer double Z, or Custer. I'm talking about Sheldon Creed in the 00, going outside and down low the 7 of Allgaier. What a battle here.
It's incredible that they're running side by side and the two front cars aren't getting away. These guys are still maintaining good pace. The 19 says, I'll make it 3 wide on the inside.
And Almirola had faded late in stage 1, but the 19, good pit stop. They are right back in it.
Justin stayed committed to this bottom here. That should prevail as he tries to get by Brandon Jones. The exit of 4 right now doesn't quite clear.
Actually got to the inside of Sheldon Creed even right there. You got to appreciate the 88 pit crew, though, doing a great job. And then Connor doing an awesome job on that restart to get out front.
Yeah, everything I said about the outside being preferred didn't pay off right there as Connor took the lead from the inside. Justin is fighting as hard as he can on the inside of these cars. He's side drafting aggressively, one of the most aggressive side drafters in the series. You'll see it here once again, most likely, if he can get to that left rear quarter panel. Slocks right ahead. That was tight.
I think Brandon cut him a break right there. It was so close. Justin, liked by all in the garage, and normally it will cut you a break because it looks like the 7's actually going to try to get to the outside of the 00. He does right there. Gets to the outside of Sheldon Creed. Going to have a little bit of momentum down the backstretch. 7 car really fast tonight. Looks awesome out there.
He doesn't want his teammate to get away out front. Allgaier to 3rd as he pulls down. Teammates racing for a position here. You saw Brandon Jones, Eric Almirola going after one another.
And Almirola just passed, Allgaier just passed the 00 on the outside and ran the fastest lap on the track doing that. So look at that. He's found a groove on the top. They're going to need to tell the 88 when they get back down to turns 1 and 2. Look, 7's passed a car the last 2 laps on the outside.
Him go.
Wow, look at that. Gets to his outside.
That's way up there, though. You see,
I think it's better, though, in 1 and 2, Parker. Like, it seems like they're struggling in 3 and 4 for the top, but we'll see what he chooses to do when we get back down to 1 and 2. And if the 88 tries to counter, you see how high the 7's running, about a lane off the yellow line. Look at the momentum he's going to have on exit. He got greedy in 3 and 4 last time, trying to kind of force the issue right there.
And look at Creed, lost some momentum. 00 says I'm going down low.
Look how low they're running in 3 and 4. All the way down.
There's a little grip in that paint down there. If you can get your left sides and sort of de-wedge the car a little bit and sort of wrap the car around the corner using that grip in the paint.
No out of of bounds at Phoenix. We talk so much about it at places like Daytona and Talladega. You come here, you can run anywhere. And look at Allgaier sliding off the corner.
Sheldon Creed kind of forced it in front of Taylor Gray off of turn 2. There's a 7. 7 car is awesome right now.
Got some momentum.
I feel like he's found a little bit of a new line. We always talk about Justin being kind of a bottom feeder and using that apron to his advantage, but see right here, he's trying to work the bottom, packing a bunch of air on the 88. It's just so hard to complete the pass on the bottom. It might take him a lap or two, but clearly they've made the right adjustments. His car's fired off on these sticker tires really well.
And you notice there too, the role the sun is playing has diminished. It is starting to go down. Justin Allgaier, the reigning champ, back out front and in control. It's Connor Zilic, his teammate, who wants the title right behind him.
Connor sort of let him go there, but now he's just got to watch and try to learn what the 7's doing better.
As we go to break, we look at our Mobil 1 leaderboard. Teammates out front, alive for the title. Creed, Almirola, and Gray behind them. Over halfway home, stage 2 at Phoenix, NASCAR Xfinity Series. And we remind you, final stage tonight as we decide a champion. It's going to be commercial free, courtesy of Xfinity. Final race for them tonight as a title sponsor. They've been outstanding, and what a great gift that will be as we run toward the crown here tonight. Looking at our Champ 4 drivers. They've been pushing each other around so far this evening. Justin Allgaier leading this race. Connor Zilisch was out front. He's now second. Love is 8th. Carson Kvapil 10th. That's where he was after losing 4 spots in that pit exchange at the end of stage 1. Let's get a Jesse Love update with Dylan.
Yeah, you see this great battle between he and Brandon Jones for the 8th spot. There's some urgency on the radio from crew chief Danny Stockman to his driver a few laps ago. Take a listen.
Remind you, remember what we talked about. You got to win on entry. You got to win on entry. Little tight. Yeah, it's probably traffic here. Pack air on his left rear. Go by him.
So they want him to get going. And the interesting thing is, when we talked to Jesse and even Danny earlier this weekend, they felt like they were so confident with what they needed the car to do and how they were going to adjust on it as the track cooled off. I think they know what direction they need to go, but trying to find that and get to that direction has been a challenge for these guys so far, Kim.
Well, Dylan, when Justin Allgaier passed Connor Zilisch, the booth noted, what kind of things can Connor add to his notebook following Justin, who's so good here at Phoenix? Here was the radio from the 88 team.
You got it on exit, you're back even down the front. He was never any better. It's just a couple hundreds basically off the corner of 1 and 2. Your 3 and 4 is pretty equal, but your exit was better than his shape was.
And spotter Josh Williams adding 16 more to go. Learn all you can for later in the race.
Well, they're going to have to make some adjustments on the 88 because as we watch the lap times go here, I think that radio is a few laps old because Allgaier's been consistently about 2/10 quicker than the 88, than anybody has been, but then the 88 as well.
And big shape means sort of the arc into the corner, how wide you enter it and then get back down the inside, or even just use a wide line like we saw Justin using a couple times. So that's Connor just trying to get some context for what he's seen from the 7. If it was better, the team didn't feel like it was that big.
Good racing throughout the field. Battle for position here. 16, Christian Eckes. 8, Sammy Smith, who has won here at Phoenix.
That's a really awkward spot to get into someone's rear bumper because they're hanging on the cars completely on edge. Right. Oh, and here's Corey Day. Oh! And that's easy to do there.
Very easy. Everybody's done that, Corey. Trust me.
Yep.
It won't be the last time you do it either. It's so you're sliding so much. You already talked about being out of control in the exit of that corner. No harm, no foul, though. It didn't look like he tore up anything. It looks like the speed's still in that car.
Corey Day back there in 18th. Riding with Eric Almirola here. He's 4th. Just in the tire tracks of Sheldon Creed. Closing on 10 to go, stage 2.
I'm telling you, Allgaier, I'm going to say this, try to keep everybody up to date. He's 4/10 quicker than second place right now. He's gotten in a rhythm. It's like he didn't overuse his car at the beginning of that run. Whatever adjustments they've made, whether it was Jim Pullman and the adjustments they made on the pit stop, or Parker, maybe it's just that the sun has went down, right? The track has cooled down, and it goes through a transition. Some cars get better, some get worse. The 7 definitely has gotten better the cooler it gets.
And one of the things that happens in the Xfinity Series, for whatever reason, because you have other series that run during the day before the race, that first run, that first stage is always different than what happens in the next 2 stages. And so you have to adjust that. And it's usually the case where they may be a little freer on track, whatever, and then the track naturally tightens up as the Xfinity cars lay their rubber on the racetrack. And so an experienced team like the 7 knew that and made the right adjustments for it.
What a difference a year makes. Last year, en route to the championship, Allgaier led 4 laps. He's led 17 here tonight. The Brandt onboard camera takes us to break on CW. 7 laps to go, and it's the 7 car out front as we wrap stage 2 at Phoenix in this championship race for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Allgaier pulling away at the front right now.
All right, 2 seconds, take care of it.
Let me know when I get to 10 seconds, and I'll slow down.
Yep, you're at 2.4 right now.
He's good, Eddie. Let him run.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to get to 10 seconds by the end of the stage.
You know when you make your most mistakes in racing is when you try to be not 100%. And I think that's the theory there from Jim Pullman of saying, you know what? That's when things go bad. Just run like you have to. Like it means something to get out to a 10-second lead.
I know they're leading the race, but you got to appreciate how relaxed they all are. Like, that was Jim Pullman talking to the spotter on the second radio. Like, just let him go. Let him do his thing right there. They know they've got a great car, and they just have to execute the rest of this race.
You need him to be in the right headspace to win tonight, period. And sometimes he might be down, you need to pick him up. But when he feels that good, I agree with Pullman, just let him rip.
And you also just have to expect that you're going to have a green-white checker. I think you have to go into this race knowing that we might get a long run, but when it comes down to the end, it just seems like the caution will come out towards the end. You see he's having to manage all this traffic. But they look relaxed, they sound relaxed, and they're in a great place.
Love trying to make it happen late in the stage. Saw the battle with Brandon Jones, now working Nick Sanchez for 6 with 4 to go, stage 2.
Yeah, you want to get all you can right here as you come down to the end of the stage. If he can get by Sanchez, have a better position coming to pit road, the 2 cars going to have to execute perfect pit stop.
Here's some 2 radio.
Keep your head right, man. I'm not worried about him. Try by him. Go get to the next guy.
They have a little bit of history. If you remember post-Las Vegas, Jesse was pretty upset with Nick Sanchez for the way he raced him at the end of the race. That can boil over and continue as you go further in the season and in these races when you're racing him. But I'd say the good news for Jesse Love is that he's moving forward. And we haven't seen that tonight.
I think that tonight is the exception to the rule. When you talk about all the other playoff races, I know we hear drivers talk about they need to know that I'm in the playoffs. It's different. When you get here tonight, they tell you in the drivers' meeting, it's the championship 4. I need everyone to think about what's on the line. Those 4 guys have earned the right to maybe get raced a little different than what they do in other races.
And you have 2 like this. Corey Day and Christian Eckes getting into it off for 2.
Eckes is just getting used up tonight.
Yeah, off for 2 every single time. He hasn't not had a car in his rear bumper. I would say, though, for the non-playoff guys, the drivers out there are not going for the Champ 4. The big thing is you need to race your own race, but if they get to you, if they're beside you, you don't need to be side drafting, that sort of thing. You would want that courtesy if you were in their position.
Absolutely.
Final lap, second stage. Love has made his way to 5th, really doing a good
Top
job.
5, yeah.
And that's great news when you start thinking ahead in this race.
Totally.
And the long run we are going to face in that final stage. It's not for sure, but most likely if history repeats itself. Well, this is fitting. He's the reigning champ, and Justin Allgaier are going to win a stage again here tonight. It's his 15th stage win of the year, the most of anyone. He had 16 stage victories a year ago when he claimed the title for a position into the stage. Give it to Taylor Gray. He gets 6th away from Sanchez there. So Allgaier out front in stage 2. His teammate Zilich right behind him. The championship 4 delivering, all 4 in the top 10 as we get set for the final run of the race. And Allgaier trying to make it 2 in a row here in the desert. CW Sports coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by Golden Corral. Golden Corral honors our nation's heroes. Toyota, let's go places. And by Bristol Myers Squibb. It's been another great CW Sports Saturday, and the Capper racing for a championship in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And next week, CW Football Saturday is coast to coast. First, it's off to Chapel Hill as Stanford faces North Carolina. Then after dark, Sam Houston visits Oregon State in a non-conference clash. Don't miss a second of the action, starting with CW Football Saturday Countdown. Next week, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, only on the CW.
Great camping here.
I was out in the middle of that
year.
earlier today. It's incredible.
Unbelievable. As far as the eye can see, if you get up in these grandstands, campers.
I feel like you typically think of like Talladega, Michigan as these camping places, but Phoenix has been epic for years.
Oh, for the last couple of years, it's amazing as you drive in here how many are here.
2 stages down, so let's get our championship update brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb. This is the box score for those drivers trying to get the championship. Look at the bottom line where they finished in that second stage. Right now it's all about Justin Allgaier, but all 4 of them in position inside the top 10.
And I'd say Jesse Love was moving there late in that stage. If he can be up front here on the restart of stage 3 and have that same pace, he could definitely challenge those 2 JRM cars.
Connor Zilic second in stage 2.
I thought it may take just a little bit longer, Connor. Just got to work on it right now. We ain't good enough. Man, all right. I don't know. Okay. Not a lot longer, maybe a half a second.
That is the first time all season I feel like I've heard some sort of wavering on that radio of the 88 car.
Well, if you're on his pit box and you're looking at the lap times, I talked about it. It was 2/10 to 4/10 each lap, that the 7 was quicker. So they're going to have to throw something at it. Connor might not know exactly what he needs, but they're going to have to try something here to find a little speed.
Progressive pit road is open. See the 19 of Eric Almirola getting a stop. Sheldon Creed, 54 of Taylor Gray. A lot of those Joe Gibbs Toyotas are in, including Brandon Jones. Let's cover the championship 4 drivers. Here's Dylan.
Yeah, and Jesse Love got rolling there at the end of the second stage. Still was a little snug, but felt like as the track frees up, they're going to be able to contend with the front runner. Still going to make a track bar adjustment to help the front turn. Tape and a full load of fuel for Allgaier to help free him up, Kim.
Bottom of your screen, Connor Dillon said, I need lateral grip, but I'm tight when I roll the bottom. Do more of what you did last time. He said the 7 made theirs a lot better. We got to do something. Marty Lindley telling his driver the stop's going to take a little bit longer because we got to work on it. Top of your seat, Carson Quamble said it feels like everyone got a half second faster. We got a 10 slower. I'm sliding the rear everywhere. No turn. Whatever we did, it was the wrong adjustment.
Race off Progressive Pit Road. How about the 2?
Wow.
Knocking it out. +4.
Massive.
He wins the battle off. Allgaier goes to 2nd. Zilic falls to 7th. Quapple stays inside the top 10. This is what it's all about. And by that much, it's going to be Jesse Love in control of the race, running for a championship as we get things going in the final stage. That's what everybody wants. That championship trophy. Who's going to be holding it? We're 1 stage away from finding out. And thanks to Xfinity, it's all commercial free. You're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series championship race on CW.
It is always fun to say it's fast Xfinity Mobile.
You want to say it one last time?
I'm as fast as Xfinity Mobile. Oh, that was perfect.
We were as fast as Xfinity Mobile today.
My car was as fast as Xfinity Mobile. That's the 63rd time this year.
As fast as Xfinity Mobile.
As fast as Xfinity Mobile.
As fast as Xfinity Mobile.
My race car is as fast as Xfinity Mobile. Signed, and done.
We have plenty of opportunities to do that ahead of us.
I honestly don't think it's that easy to say. You know, I mean, I think it's a little challenging at times. But thanks to Xfinity, this final stage, commercial free. I don't care if we have a caution. It doesn't matter to me. We're just going to stay here until we get the checkered flag and we crown a champion. And this is outstanding by Xfinity to say goodbye to the series this way.
It's really fun. They've been a great partner, and they've taken care of the drivers and teams, saying that all the time. And I know the fans have really dug into that and find it as fun as we all have, and it's good to remember it in your interviews.
And now our golden moment brought to you by Golden Corral, the pit stop for Jesse Love and the 2 team.
They were the 5th best pit crew ranked this season, the best of the championship 4, and this was the fastest 4-tire stop of the season there. 12.86 for the 2 crew there for Jesse Love to get him to the lead. You can tell they're pumped. They know how big that was to put him right out front.
Think of the range of emotions that Jesse Love has been through in the last hour. That first run fading back, you're like, whoa, it looks like it's not going well for him. Now here we are starting the most important stage, and he's leading the race. It's been quite an up and down for him.
Let's go to the mind of Connor Zilich right now. Marty Lindley sold that to him. Hey, we have to make this adjustment. You saw it in the left rear of that race car where they were turning that wrench in the rear window, hoping to probably make an adjustment he needed, but he's lost all of his positions here, Dylan.
And we're getting set up for potentially the longest run of the day, certainly the longest stage. Here is the game plan, at least for now, on the 2 car, the race leader.
This run is going to be a little bit longer than the next one. No, we got 2 sets left, bro. 2 sets.
Tires matter. We know that for sure. Danny did just remind his driver, you're going to have clean air here. The car's going to be completely different than it's been all night, Kim.
And Carson Kvapil currently running in the 10th position. Has been battling the handling. They've tried to make it better. Here was the conversation before the pit stops.
I think you can remind him he's not really that far off. He feels worse inside the car than it really is. We can see he's just a tick off from them guys, but really competitive.
It's Dale Jr. giving him a little pep talk right there. And he mentioned it, like the lap times are all really close. I thought Allgaier was the kind of anomaly that we saw out there being so quick, but I've watched Carson's lap times, and they've been really good. Got to have a good restart right here, though, and get as many as you can.
Jesse Love in control, takes the outside lane. To his left, the reigning champ, Justin Allgaier. Final stage 2025 underway at Phoenix.
Look at Allgaier, gets up, gets a little side draft, cuts down to the bottom. See how deep he drives into here. We saw Zilich do it earlier, trying to get control of this race. Those guys all choose the top, Parker, but the bottom keeps winning the restart.
All the analytics told you that you want to be on the outside, but now twice in a row we've seen the inside prevail. You got to put that in your notebook for later on. If we get a late race restart, it looks like the inside is the place to be.
Last 2 restarts, it was a junior motorsports car on the inside lane, front row, and both times they got the top spot. Last time it was Connor Zilich, this time Allgaier.
And a driver we haven't talked a lot about today is that white and green number 19, Eric Almirola, won this race when we were here earlier in March. Had a tire issue on that first run and faded a little bit at the end, but looks to me like that car is fired off this final stage really good. As you see the 88 right there, as deep in the pack as he's been all day long. They've made some adjustments to that car, and we'll see over the course of the next 8 to 10 laps if they've adjusted on it the right way.
And we passed halfway in this race. The longer you go and you're behind the 8-ball chasing this championship, because you just have to be the best finisher of those 4 alive for the title, the frustration will grow. You have to stay patient because history says we're going to get some cautions, we're going to get late restarts. Just keep yourself in the game.
And why did Connor sort of question Marty Lindley, saying we're going to take a little bit longer to stop to make the adjustments? It's exactly what we're seeing right now. Now he's having to work his way through these cars. He can see Justin Allgaier all the way up there in the lead. Jesse Love fighting with Justin Allgaier, and now he has Sheldon Creed and Eric Almirola ahead of him, who he's going to have to find a way past. He's going to be in this dirty air that heats up the car a little bit. It just saps a little bit of performance, and he's going to have to adjust his line like you're seeing right now in 3 and 4 to try and get runs on these guys from when he was in the top 2.
Little contact right here between the 54 and the 88. You see Taylor Gray getting to the inside. What I heard on the radio from Connor is when they talked about, watch his hands inside the car here. See a little bit of contact. See him look in his mirror to, is he clear now? But what I heard on the radio is that he's like, listen, I'm a little loose in and a little loose off, but I'm too tight in the middle. That's extremely hard to adjust on because you need it to turn better, because that's normally where all the speed is made up at a flat racetrack like this. But if you loosen it up and you get looser on entry and exit, you can't charge the corner and you can't get to the throttle on exit. So he's like, I don't know how to tell you to make it better.
If we stay on board here down in the 3 and 4s, we probably move off, of course. If you watch him, look here where he goes. I actually went a little higher. Earlier on, at times when he's running the bottom there on the line, he's going the furthest down into the paint that I've actually seen anyone do in a long time, which is he's almost 4 tires down the paint through 3 and 4, trying to find some more grip, and that sort of proves exactly what you're talking about, Jamie, where he's trying to get that car to turn in the center. So we watch him on 1 and 2 here, now down the backstretch towards 3 and 4. That helps the car turn, but it can hurt your exit at times.
And the guy that I have seen do that the most is who I think's the best here, and it's Allgaier. And you got to think all of these drivers, when you get ready to come to a racetrack and you study and what do I need to do better, you're going to watch whoever you think the best is. His teammate, the guy leading the race right now, does as good a job here as anybody. As you see on the right-hand side of your screen, all those guys going through the dogleg, the Sparks. That's Brendan Queen on the inside of Sammy Smith. These guys fighting for their lives right here on this restart.
I mean, I know we sell them a lot, but Brendan Queen got the free pass at the end of stage 1. I mean, they were a lap down. He's back in the game now and moving through the field inside the top 20. He's the ARCA champ, finished 2nd here in the springtime in ARCA, going to be a full-time Truck Series driver next year at Colleague. And the news came out this week that Team Colleague is pausing their Xfinity operation in 2026. Big salute to them for everything they have done in the last 10 years. They have been outstanding, a huge supporter of what we've seen.
25. Ooh, Harrison Burton got so loose right there. I think Brendan's holding all those guys up. They were 3 wide and actually making ground up on him. It looks to me like that 11 car really struggling right here. You see Harrison's trapped, can't get down. He's actually trying to give the 11 a little bit of a push.
Is this not a snapshot of the Xfinity Series?
Yep.
I mean, you can watch a guy out front and you get lost in this. Parker, you've been here. You know what it's like to be in that dogfight between 15th and 20th, and this is a weekly thing.
And it's the best term for it, a dogfight. It's straight up fist fight at times as you're in this pack and all these different cars trying just to find some better performance, find a better line, side drafting, bumping into each other, sliding, and you get frustrated back here because it seems like everyone's racing each other so tough. So we have a caution out.
3rd caution of the night. And the first for an incident on track, Leland Honeyman Jr. Made his first career start here at Phoenix, and the 70 got away from him.
Well, we talked about these guys having extra sets of tires, and it's been about a second of fall off over the course of 10 to 12 laps. So tires are as important here as they have ever been, which is awesome because it's going to shake it up here a little bit. And
you know, I'm interested about that because you got 2 sets left. And I think every crew chief down there, if we were 10 laps later,
they didn't want it to come out right now.
Would say, you know what, we're going to pit and get that first set of the 2 we had remaining. Right now, really tough call with over 85 to go.
There's Leyland at the top of the screen.
Little contact maybe.
Daniel Dye with him. That backup
Definitely.
car. Yep. And they move up, and Leyland goes around.
Wow. Barely
Connor
sneaks
Mozak
by.
just dances below. He's really glad that apron's so big down there.
The thing that I wonder right now is it shakes us up. I know we've talked about in the past flipping the stage, and if you're going for points, if you're not, I just wonder if you're the 1 car of Coopel, do you take a chance here, right? Because if it runs green, those tires are going to be a massive advantage. Where you put yourself in a box is if you get that caution right at the end and you haven't saved a set, your day's over.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, with 2 sets there, it makes that strategy call maybe worth the risk if you feel like you're not where you need to be. If we're in the spring and you only have one set lane for the final stage, no way you can make a pit stop.
And we talked to Andrew Overstreet, who's the crew chief of the one, about this, and he said we're going to be aggressive. He talked about the green flag cycle. If that was a thing where we start to have green flag stops, he might go longer than everyone else, just seeing if they can catch a caution, pull a Hail Mary a little bit to try and steal some track position. Let's take a listen to Connor Zilich's radio.
I just need clean air. I can't pass. Up high in 1 and 2, chance and a half better. Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna cook the right rear doing that. I can't make it last. Save it for later in a run, but this early in the run, if I do that, I'll be, I don't know. I just don't think I can. But I mean, I got to do something because I'm slow.
Well, and he struggled with that the first race. He said once he got back in traffic, he's like, I just struggled to pass there.
Mixed bag. Brandon Jones comes down. Ryan Sieg, Corey Day, Brennan Queen. Let's cover the stops, Dylan.
Yeah, and Jones just asked for a little bit more drive off. They feel like they're close enough to their fuel window that they can try to make this work. So they are going to be down a set of tires to the leaders, but nothing to lose for these guys. They can go for it if they feel like this is maybe a winning move for later.
So many different agendas tonight.
There are.
You know, we've got these guys racing for a championship, and you got others that can take a chance and go for the win tonight. If you're in that group of championship 4 guys, you almost have to all do the same thing. So most likely they came on the radio and they're like, do what the 7 does. If he stays out, stay out. If he pits, pit.
Jones was the highest in the running order of those that made a pit stop. He was 7th, and he's the first to come off the pit lane. The Whelen caution lights are on. Whelen, the official warning lights of NASCAR and America's most trusted manufacturer of emergency lights and sirens.
Well, we're going to get to fire off on scuff tires here now, which is always a little bit different. Typically, the cars take off just a little bit tighter when you have a scuff set of tires. I found the most interesting radio I heard there was Connor. His crew chief, Marty Lindley, is like, look, you're a 10th and a half quicker if you're on the top, but what the crew chief can't feel is how loose that car is being on the top. Parker and maybe, you know, Parker's worried, or Connor's worried about using up too much of that right rear.
And now let's get a message from drivers talking about Xfinity.
To be able to get into the Xfinity series is a huge deal, right?
The branding of Xfinity and the way they do things is great.
Been to a lot of cool events and done some fun things. I'll remember those for sure for a long time.
Their continued support certainly means a lot to all the drivers and teams that bust their tails every week to get to the racetrack. You know, selfishly, I think it's the best series. It's where names are made.
Definitely the most, you know, competitive and fun series that I've ever ran.
We're truly going to miss them.
There are so many levels in which Xfinity, as a title sponsor, has checked the box. You think about their community involvement at all these different racetracks where we go, their support of the drivers and the teams, the whole faster than Xfinity mobile, Xfinity internet, and how fun that has been and what that's meant for all of these drivers. And this last week on their social channels, they were putting out the best 10 moments all time, you know, in the last 11 years. And the way the fans embrace that, they have had this great balance of being a supporter but also relating to the fans. And the fans are very disappointed that this is coming to an end just because they have done a really good job.
100%. And I think what Xfinity has really helped is create this into having its own identity. You know, for a long time, this series was sort of looked at as Cup Light, right? And as the next gen car came around, as you look at Justin Allgaier going to the top, Jesse at the bottom.
What is he doing?
Well, I tell you, because it's old tires. It's old tires.
That's right.
There you go. It's easier to get going. He spun the tires on the initial restart there for stage 3 on the inside. So I'd have to think with the older tires, he wants to have a better momentum. Let's take a listen to his radio.
Jim, I know you wanted to ride around in the middle of the pack all day, but just being out front is way more fun.
I would agree.
And I was close to leading 1,000 laps this year, so hopefully I fix that.
Well,
I'm going to tell you what.
Counting stats.
I mean, he's going to be 50 lead the next time around, and he is loose as a goose.
It's like a running back, you know, knowing his stats to get his bonus sort of thing.
Right. Give me the ball. I need another 100-yard rushing
Come on,
night.
guys.
So Allgaier goes from the outside, Love to his left, a role reversal from that last restart. 13 drivers stay out. Brandon Jones, first off the pit lane, was 14th prior to the choose. Going to be 82 laps to go in the season when we get the green flag.
And Parker referenced the spinning of the tires on new tires. That's going to be 10 times worse right now. See if these guys can time it out.
Look at Almirola tucking up there.
On
Justin didn't get the best start there. He spun him a little bit. Jesse really hooked up in the rear. Look at Sheldon Creed down the bottom, make it 3 wide.
Creed not afraid, 0-0, that black car down low. And I mean, Ryan Sieg's way down there, Sammy Smith, nothing out of bounds here as Allgaier tries to get it clear off of turn 2, and I believe he will. Maybe not yet. Here comes Love into 3.
Somehow Jesse Love through all that got back beside Justin Allgaier. Looks like Justin's from Prevail off of 4 here on the outside, but that took a lot of effort to be able to make that happen.
I'm looking at our running order. What a night for Joe Gibbs Racing. Brandon Jones made the pit stop, so lost some track position. But Justin Bonsignor from the back is up there, Taylor Gray. And right here we see Eric Almirola, who's right in front of Zilich, and Creed not given a lot of room.
And Zilich had a great restart right there. I feel like that's worked out the best for him. As you see, he's going to try to get back to the inside of Creed, who's been committed to really running low down through turns 1 and 2. Looks to me like Connor's car is fired off on these scuffed tires, maybe a little better than what he did initially on stickers. See if he can slide up in front of the 0-0 right here.
Sense of urgency is up. Anytime you tighten up the field, you have a restart, you know the opportunity is there to go get you some. 88 is doing that as Almirola looks for second.
Jesse Love looks loose right there on exit. 19 looks just really solid. I feel like Eric's the one that I haven't seen overdrive his car yet, just keeping it right underneath him.
And Eric fighting for a championship in that 19 car, the owner's championship. That's why he's pushing so hard here against some of these championship 4. To do that, he's going to have to beat the 7.
Look at Corey Day. Bounced off the wall, was racing with Christian Eckes. He said, you know what? I'm all good. Wounded race car maybe a little bit. He's in the top 10 running 7th.
Yeah, it's got a composite body. The thing just comes right back into place.
Pops right out, huh?
Corey has continued to get better each and every race that he's run this year. A little bit of a rough start to the season, the first couple of races, but he has done, I think, a great job. As you see, look at his trying to make it 4 wide right there through turns 1 and 2.
And it is very disorienting when you are going through the dog leg into turn 1. You have all these cars all over the place. You can lose your sense of place a little bit inside the race car at times. And that's when you see some contact down into 1. As you see, look how low Sammy Smith was down there. That's impossible for the spotter to spot and for you in the car to even know how far away you are from each other.
How low can you go?
Yeah.
I mentioned Bonsignor from the back. Once again, he's driving the 18 in for the injured William Sawalich. William got the concussion with that hard crash at Talladega. He's here this weekend doing much better, just wasn't quite ready to get back in the race car. But William, great to have you here at the racetrack, and we look forward to seeing you back behind the wheel in 2026. And Bonsignor has been great. Top 10 last week and top 10 today. Never seen this place.
That's what I was going to say. It's been a rough start, and he told me the Xfinity Series has been a little harder than what he expected it, but he's really just gotten into his groove. It's unfortunate that the season's coming to an end because you mentioned it, Adam. Great run at Martinsville last weekend. He's done a tremendous job here tonight. As you see, one of our championship guys, Carson Quabble, getting to his inside. Carson's kind of been stuck in that 10th to 12th place all night long. Moved up at one point, then had the bad pit stop, found himself back there in 10th again.
You know what's hard for him is he stayed out, and some of the guys that made pit stops are now going by. It just was a tough balance for them.
Well, you want a buffer. And those guys in the first 10 or first 8 had that little bit of buffer, but now they're catching Carson, like you said, and it's so hard to hold off tires here. Tires they didn't used to make a big difference, but they make a huge difference at this track now.
And Ryan Sieg in that 41 car, filling in for Sam Mayer, who's suspended for this race. He was one of those who came down and put on tires. He's moved forward. Corey Day, who we mentioned earlier, is moving forward.
Yeah, Corey Day's, I mean, of the guys that pitted, Day's up to 5th right now and in the best position of anybody. You know, if this thing runs out green, going to be in a tremendous position.
Yeah, we'll talk all about who's got tires and who doesn't as we continue on this green flag run. You look at those top 4 are in a really good spot. Still 2 sets of tires, and they have the track position. And 3 of the 4 alive for the championship. As we continue to watch the battle from 9th on back, Sammy Smith, Taylor Gray, and Ryan Sieg.
I tell you what, Allgaier has not checked out on this run. Jesse Love's been able to match his lap times. Fired off a couple times on these used tires, and for the advantage that the 7 car had early on, Parker, it seems like Jesse Love is maintaining now.
We saw it at the end of stage 2. This 2 car was really fast late in that run in stage 2. And obviously, as we've gone to nighttime and the temperature's gone down, that car is starting to really come to life. And you look how much track Justin Allgaier is using right there compared to Jesse. That's a great sign for longevity in the car. You're not hurting that right rear, and that's what is allowing him to stay so close.
What about it, Dylan?
Discipline. Yeah, the balance is good. Balance is good right now on the 2, and discipline is the word they have reiterated to him constantly since this final stage started. They told Jesse to the start of this run, keep him in your sights, take care of your stuff. He's going to come back to us on the long run. That's our strength. He's done that. 7 has not driven away from them. They're in a good spot right now for the 2.
And the 2 car, as you watch, it looks to me like his entry is really good. You see he'll gain a little bit on the 7 on entry, and I don't see him counter steering, so that tells me that car's good and stable, able to pick the throttle up where they said they were weak at early in this race, and done a nice job adjusting on that.
Gonna go inside of 70 laps to go. Whelan taking us on board with Jesse Love. And what a confidence builder this has to be for a young driver. I mean, Love's got a great resume at Phoenix. Average finish just over 5th here. But he's not done what Allgaier has done. So to be able to hang around with him, it's just got to infuse a lot of energy to driver 2.
And when you can see it, when you're in the position Jesse Love is right now, that's the championship 1 second in front of you, half a second in front of you. When you can see that, I'm telling you, you're like, all we need, we're one round, half a pound of air pressure away from being able to compete with the 7 car.
And when you hear that word discipline, that is such a difficult thing to do as a race driver. You can see it, you can know exactly what's in front of you, but you've got to hold yourself back and just take care of those tires. And when I saw that onboard and just listening how smooth he's getting in the throttle, taking care of the right rear, not moving the hands like you mentioned, just doing everything he can to have longevity in this car.
And as you look at Danny Stockman on the left right there, Jesse Love's crew chief, I don't know that I've ever met anyone that wants to win more than Danny Stockman. His passion, and you know, he's hit me up a couple of times this year like, hey, why'd you say that? Like, his passion to want to win is as high as anyone I've ever met.
I just got to tell you a little story about this week to tell you how much we like to say that Danny's on the limiter sometimes. They eat the chip. The team told me this week he actually was painting the side skirt bolts red earlier this week, and then they tape over them. But he still wanted to paint them red.
Yeah, his attention to detail is a 10 out of 10.
And he's been successful for a long time, and if you believe in history repeating itself, 2012, he led Austin Dillon at RCR to Rookie of the Year honors. A year later, led him to a championship. Last year, Jesse Love, Rookie of the Year. This year, driving for RCR, trying to claim the crown. We check in on the 4th man when you look at the dance for the championship. Carson Kvapil is back in 12th. That 4 car is Parker Retzloff.
See right here, Kyle Siegel, the brake rotor's glowing on that. A little bit of contact, the left rear quarter.
Tell you what, Kyle Siegel came to play tonight.
Yeah, he did. He did. And that down into 3, it's sometimes the way you enter that corner. If you don't have anyone around you, you do a larger arc. You don't really protect as much. Kyle saw the opportunity, got in there thinking he was maybe getting given the bottom as Carson came down doing a larger arc. That happens here often.
What about Brendan Queen, the 11, Harrison Burton right behind him in that gray 25 car? They have been going at it for about 20 minutes now, battling for this position. Both those cars sliding around. It's been really fun to watch them.
Harrison Burton had a great year, leading AM Racing to the playoffs, eliminated in the round of 12. But that team has been outstanding. He'll go drive for Sam Hunt in 2026. This guy's going to be in the Cup Series next year, Connor Zilic. And the reason why, even though he's 19 years old, he's ready for it because he's just been so good in the Xfinity Series as a rookie.
What about this? Jesse Love, you talked about it, Parker, kind of managing that car, not sliding it around. He's caught Allgaier, was 2/10 quicker the last lap. Of course, oh, look at Allgaier sliding the back of it. Allgaier's going to make that decision to go just where the 2 isn't.
And look where Jesse Love went. He did that a couple laps ago. Got a pretty good run off here of 4. Once again, now he's going to look to the inside, possibly now back to the outside through the dog leg. Just looking for that clean air, going where the 7 isn't. Back to the outside. He's diamonding this 1 and 2 a little bit as Justin tries to slide up right now to cut him off.
The 7's hanging on. The 7th car looks super loose. maybe used up a little too much of that right rear tire. It's going to be really hard. 62 laps to go, like almost impossible to hold him off. The 2 just looks very stable. I mentioned that when we did the onboard, he gained so much ground on entry and wasn't having to counter steer. It just tells you that car has really good stability. It's ride back on board with him. They drive down into turns 1 and 2. God, it's got to feel good. Watch the wheel input right there. It's pretty steady.
Look how high up he is.
To the left, and then he gets
gives you a big run.
Yeah.
You get a very straight run off the corner. Didn't quite get the momentum he was hoping for there, but Justin responded the prior lap in 3 and 4 going to the top. Now Jesse goes there. Justin goes back to the bottom.
Got some lap traffic coming too. That could play a huge role in this battle for the lead. 60 laps to go in the championship race.
And that probably put a little front brake in there. Maybe it's getting loose because he's having to drive harder and harder here. It looks to me like the top of turns 1 and 2, not bad. 3 and 4, you don't see very many guys able to make time up there. Maybe he can get it worked in just a little bit, just not use too much tire up in the process of doing that. Didn't like that adjustment, went back on it. Gosh, you've got to be so careful with the throttle, though. You hear him just pushing it down so slow. They're going by the lap car of Dawson Cram right there on the outside. Might give Justin just a little bit of breathing room.
And one of the things that Jesse is doing is you can see the rubber laid down on this racetrack. That's what allows all these lines to work the way they do. And so he's just trying to find somewhere that maybe hasn't been run on as frequent as, you know, as you go along in this run, just trying to find cooler track, less rubber on the track to just get that little bit he needs to get back to the 7.
Well, you chase the gray. That's the saying, right? Like where the rubber is, there's just not as much grip. And when you catch lap traffic is when you really figure out who has the best car. Normally, if your car is a little bit off when you catch lap traffic, whether even if it's loose, it gets looser. If it's tight, it gets tighter. These guys are all over the place in front of them, some high, some low.
51, Jeremy Clements.
Justin's done a really good job getting by a couple of them there.
You know, this playoff format is so much about survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. This little stint of the race has been about survival. When you think about having control for Justin Allgaier, so far so good, keeping that 2-car Jesse Love behind him as they go around the 07 of Patrick Emmerling.
See Jesse way high that time, just searching, like you said, trying to find a little bit of grip.
Yeah, it's like the traffic didn't quite play in his favor there.
Yeah.
Constantly, Justin was able to get the pass done quicker. He had to hesitate on the exit. So he's just trying, it didn't work out for him. He's doing that long, that very deep entry into turn 3, and it's not really helping his exit off of 4. Dylan, you have more than the 7?
Well, something to know just in talking with Ian Pullman this weekend, they referenced last year a lot and how they learned that they don't have to be in control of this race at all times. They have been so far tonight, but they haven't had to force it. They've just been that good. So I think if they lose the lead here, this is one of those moments where you reflect on last year. You know that they just need to be there when it matters and win when it matters. So not dire straits completely yet, still 55 to go, and no major concern, I think, if you're the 7 right now.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, James.
And as you know, we talk about spotters, we've heard Justin Spotter come on the radio numerous times, but I want you to watch his eyes, because when he comes off the exit of the corner, the first thing you see right there, he looked up. He's looking in his mirror, because as a driver, you go in the corner and you know good corner, bad corner. You kind of get a reference for that, and then you look in the mirror to see did they gain or did I gain on them or did they lose a little bit of ground. And it's such a great reference, and you'll watch it just rinse every lap right there. Looked up in the mirror just to kind of get a reference of where Love is better or maybe worse than him.
Heading toward 50 laps to go, and now you start thinking strategy. And we referenced that 87 to go when the caution came out earlier was just too soon for these drivers chasing the championship. They all have 2 sets of tires, and at some point they're going to come under green. A lot of people said the fastest way to execute the final stage, split it in half, and that's where we are right now. We'll see who is the first to give up a spot on track to make that green flag pit stop.
And it's because the analytics told them that with the tire fall off and such, but this becomes a game of chicken a little bit amongst these Champ 4 for who wants to be the first on pit road. It leaves you vulnerable to a caution coming out, trapping you a lap down in that case. So you have to really think about this and sort of assess what your competitors are doing. And then if you're someone like Carson Kvapil, you might just go throw the helmet in the back bumper.
As close as he's been. About 10 laps ago, he really went after him. Love couldn't get there.
And Adam, when they talk about the fastest time to pit, it doesn't reference in when you come back on the track and are you in traffic or if you ran long, what traffic were you in? And I would like to pit a little short. If I'm the 2 car, I want to pit a lap or 2 earlier. Just let me get in front of him. I don't care if the analytics say that it's faster over the whole run. Let me manage that because you can see how hard it is for the 2 to pass the 7 right now.
And if you're Connor Zilic, you want to be the first. Like, you got to get aggressive here. You got to do something. He's almost 5 seconds back from the leaders right now. They got to find something for that 88 car.
The other part of this equation is all those cars that pitted at lap 115 and knowing that they're gonna run it longer because they only have 1 set of tires left. And what role does that play in your thought process? Because everyone here is not even. They're not on the same strategy, and that could impact the way you think about it. If you look at our bumper, you see the laps since these drivers were last on pit road. Top 4 all together. And there goes a spinner. Ryan Sieg into the wall.
Big contact.
Wow, hard.
4th caution of the night, 2nd for an incident on track. And all that strategy conversation we were just having,
never mind.
It's not a part of the equation anymore. Tough break for Sieg, who's riding 7th, in for Sam Mayer.
You gotta think flat tire or contact right there.
Yeah, it was real early. I caught it.
How fast he went around.
I saw it out the window here at the top of my eyes.
You hear him wanting to know who's made contact with him. We'll get a look at that car.
To the back glass.
Huge impact for the 41.
My goodness. Fuel cell pushed all the way up. We'll see where this happened, but it had to be very early in the break zone, the amount of speed they had. So here's Christian Eckes, the 16. Getting a little momentum. Oh, just right.
Gosh,
just completely misjudged it.
Yeah, but you would just think that they've run multiple laps, you know, unless the 41 lifted early, but listening to the radio, it happened unexpected.
Sieg making his 400th series start here tonight.
We know brakes can be a thing here. Possibly the 16's fighting a brake issue. If we can find out some information what he might be fighting, or was it some retaliation for something happened on the track? But I think Ryan would have then maybe
would have known who it was.
Known who it
was
if he felt like there was some altercation that led to this.
He seemed really caught off guard.
Yeah, the difference in speed you have right here.
Well, it's such an interesting place to get hit.
Christian locked it up a little bit.
Maybe we can get some radio from Christian to see kind of his take on that.
Free pass goes to Josh Williams. He was running 27th.
Frustration inside of that helmet. How mad he is, shaking his head. I don't blame you.
Sieg, one of 2 drivers that's raced in every race in the Xfinity era, he and Jeremy Clements.
Well, this is where it bites you if you put those tires on, because you almost have to put your next set on now because of how many laps we've run. So if you get a late caution, you've used that up.
But all of our championship guys are level on tires, and we have seen pit road has played a huge role tonight. I'm not going to say this is the last stop, but it could be. And if it is, you need to get the track position, take control of the race. Almirola making a stop. Sammy Smith is in. Brandon Jones coming down. There you see Creed pulling out of line. Bonsignor, Eckes. Allgaier leading those involved in the championship. Let's cover those stops now, Dylan.
And Justin Allgaier and Jim Pullman expected to be freer on this run based on the changes they made last stop, and they were. Justin said they were almost a little bit too free. They'll make some changes there. Jesse Love said he was too tight on that run. Stockman is really, really cognizant of making him too free. Just a small track bar adjustment, Kim.
Bottom of your screen, Connor Zilic, a little frustrated, said, I don't know what more to do. I'm stuck. I need grip. We cannot lose position on pit road again like last time. Carson Kvapil at the top, not much different. Didn't turn better, still free off.
Wow. Last time, +4 for Jesse Love. This time, +1. Zilic gains 2. Allgaier with a hiccup loses 3 positions on the pit lane. Almirola was the 3rd off there.
The 2 crew is on it tonight.
Yeah, the
Great
88
stop
as
for-
well.
yeah,
Without the
great
adjustments,
stop.
88's had
team.
2 really good stops. 7 had trouble on the right rear on that stop. We saw it on the screen as it was happening. Not way off, but definitely not what they wanted at this point in the race. Watch this right rear. See, he had to go back. One of the lug nuts
Had
he
to
didn't get
re-hit.
off. And he's already switched your gun, and then you got to switch it back. It's only about a second that they lost there, but it was enough to lose 3 positions.
You can tell when the front was done compared to the rear, and the rear really should be ahead of the front in some respects. So that gives you the idea of how close it was and how much time they lost. As you look at Jim Pullman watching it, trying to understand exactly what happened.
Well, and probably wanting to make sure that they didn't drop the jack too soon. As you get behind on that right rear, make sure all the lug nuts are tight.
Outstanding execution on the pit lane. And despite the fact they had the hiccup, and you want to be in control, restarting in row 2, not bad for a guy that's as good
It's not.
as Allgaier and has the history he has here, and still so much time. Going to be right around 40 laps to go when we return to the green flag.
And the one thing that we have seen tonight is that there's not like a guaranteed better lane. We see the drivers want the outside. The inside has been who's been on the inside of the front row has won a few of these. And I say that just because Justin's going to either be on the second row and either be on the inside or the outside. But I don't know that there's one that you have to be in. We've seen both of those lanes be pretty similar.
CW Sports coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by the Progressive Keys to Progress program, gifting cars to veterans in need. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Aerial coverage tonight provided by the Lucas Oil helicopter. Going to be right around 40 laps to go when we return to the green flag. All these championship guys still in it. Carson Kvapil, some work to do back in 13th. But Love and Zilich, best buddies. And they're going to restart on the front row here. And they talked to us this week about how interesting their relationship is on a week like this. They said the communication doesn't stop, but they're certainly aware of what each of them is up against. And both have had outstanding seasons. And last year it was Jesse Love who wins Rookie of the Year. And this year, you know, it's Connor Zilich who's in position to go after that crown with the 10 wins and chasing a title here tonight. But it will be fun to watch them battle down the stretch. Allgaier, the veteran of the bunch, restarting 4th or at least 4th prior to the choose. Here's their radio.
All right, champ. Nice deep breath. Tires look good. They're going to be in good shape. I got the best restarter in the series here, so I'm going to rely on you to go make it happen tonight. I know you got it.
That's what you want.
Good cheerleader.
Yep, absolutely. We've heard him say it before, and Justin showed how good he can be on restarts. He's got 40, gonna have over 40 laps to go when this starts. Very similar to one of the stage links we had earlier in the race. You see he shows the bottom. You got to think that when we get down to turns 1 and 2 that these guys will be 4 or 5 wide. Somebody will be right against that inside wall, and somebody's going to be high.
And you talked about the relationship amongst these two on the front row, Adam, and I think for Jesse Love, I've just sensed a little bit of, I really want to beat my buddy there, because if you think about it, Connor's coming to the series.
He's got all
these races.
Yeah.
He's going to Cup next year. Jesse would love nothing more than to beat his best buddy. Let's take a listen to the 88 radio.
Connor, we talked about this moment today in the truck. It's here. Yeah, 10-4.
Well, Junior, I hear some emotion there.
Yep, absolutely. And we haven't seen the speed out of the 88 tonight that we think he needs to outrun the 2 and the 7, but he's in good position. We know that track position can be everything. He's got to have a great launch right here.
And I know what Jim Pullman said about Justin being the best restarter, but on our analytics and season rankings, the 88 car of Connor Zilich is the best restarter this season.
He got the lead from the inside the last time he was up there. We'll see if he can do it again.
42 to go.
Oh, he spun the tires a little bit right there. You see the 7 got into the back of him.
Restarts here always wild. Land of opportunity.
Slide up in front of the 2.
And out
Look
front,
at the 7.
in control, Connor Zilich in front of Love. Almirola is there, 3 wide. Here comes Allgaier.
Oh, it's so hard for the spotters.
Who's going to give into turn 3? A remarkable restart.
Wow, Justin was very disciplined, didn't overdrive the entry to turn 3. It's putting him in a good position here to be on the inside of the 19 and 1 and 2. 88's loving it though.
That went terribly for Jesse Love there. He just almost had them clear, but when they put him 3 wide to 3, it put him in such an awkward position through 3 and 4. Now falls back to 4.
I can't wait to see what the 7 does right here. We saw him move to the top, but you see Love now running the top, but earlier in the race, that outside, the 7 was able to get a big run. Looks to me like he's struggling right here on the restart.
How good is Almirola right here? Hanging in the game.
Yeah, we haven't talked a lot about the 19. That was terrible for the 7. The 19 ran the exact same line. 2 on the outside. Oh, it's frustrating for the 7.
Time to go. Sense of urgency is up. You can feel the anxiety. 39 remaining as we come across the start-finish line.
Look at the 7 fighting back to the inside. Almost thought that the 2 was going to be in the perfect position right there. 2's good in 1 and 2 though. Like he's able to run that just a little bit higher line, and watch the run that he generates on the exit again. Big run down the backstretch.
You gotta be careful of hurting that right rear tire, especially early on the run, going up that high. You put a lot of energy through that right rear, and you lean on it a ton on the exit. Here's that 3 wide we saw here off of turn 2. Jesse Love almost had them cleared, but then right here on the roll through the middle, stays there, touches with Justin Allgaier, and that put Jesse Love in the worst position here down into 3. Way higher than you wanted to be here.
It's usually the dog leg where we get 3 and 4 wide, not off of turn 2, right?
Connor Zilic wanting those guys to get 2 wide again, because he has not been able to drive away. All the top 4 all running just identical lap times right now. At this point in the race, it's taken about 10 laps to see have a little bit of tire fall off as you ride with Carson Quapple on the right-hand side of your screen, back in 13th right now.
Gonna need some help.
Gonna need some help, you're right. Just hasn't had the car he needs to be up front. Jesse Love got to the outside of the 19 again. 2 cars impressive. Been pretty awesome.
And what I love about it is the mentality of Jesse Love to lose some ground on the restart, but then jump right back in it and drive by these guys, some of the best in the business, Allgaier and Almirola, especially here at Phoenix. 2 car up to 2nd.
What's amazing to me is Jesse Love's entry speed at times into turn 3. We saw when he was racing Justin Allgaier before the caution came out, how much he would gain on Justin on the entry of the corner. We heard Danny Stockton over the race tell him he had to be more aggressive on the entries, and somehow he's able to have incredible entry speed and not pay the price on the exit. And that's what's allowing him to utilize that outside to pass Justin Allgaier and Eric Almirola.
Well, and let's watch Love now. Finally got by the 19, can kind of run the line he wants. You see he chose to run kind of on the line around turns 1 and 2. We'll watch his lap times here, see if he can run down Connor Zilic, who's only about 0.4 of a second ahead as they cross the line right here.
The last lap they ran an identical lap time.
Ooh, Zilic just a little bit quicker right there, but Allgaier actually fastest car on the track. See if he can get to the outside of the 19. He just, gosh, if he could just pick the throttle up right there, he knows he can roll to the outside.
Got to think about this run we have right now. Basically the same distance as stage 1 and stage 2. And so from a thought process on adjustments and where the car's going to go, these guys have a little bit of a gauge in that regard.
Zilic, really quick lap that right there. If he can continue to put together laps like that, he's going to be hard to catch, a little quicker than Jesse Love. Allgaier had a bad lap last time by, I think, trying to manage getting by the 19.
Carson Quapple has started to fade here. He's back to 15th. They're going to need a serious turn of events to get back in this battle for the championship. As we look back up front here, Jesse Love trying to track down his buddy Connor Zilic. Notices he's gotten some cleaner air. He's gone back to the bottom. We know the outside has speed, but you do hurt your tires a little bit more, especially on the exit of the corners, and especially down in 3 and 4. Dylan, you got more?
Yeah, it's just so interesting to watch how these guys have managed the race on the 2 car. Danny Stockman all weekend has said to me, he's telling Jesse it's up to him to get the car where he wants it, both from a balance standpoint and position on the racetrack for the final run of the race. Now, I don't know for sure this will be the final run or not, but ultimately it's crunch time. Jesse's worked on the car all day. They worked with him on exactly where he needs to be on the racetrack, and they're within striking distance right now. This is kind of how they drew it up, and it's hard to imagine that it goes exactly how you plan it on a day like this, but it kind of has so far for these guys. Now they just got to finish it off.
Well, and a couple of things I see with the 2-car is, and you referenced this a second ago, Parker, he gained so much time on entry on that last run on Justin Allgaier, but as I watch now, I don't see that, and it looks to me like the front brakes are a lot hotter than they were the last run. That either says he's having to overslow the car because it's not turning as well, or he's loose in and he's having to use the brakes to kind of keep it underneath him.
Well, and remember, he fell there to 4th at one point, so he's had to work through a little bit of traffic. You got to push a little harder when you have to do that to make those passes and just use more of the race car. And that's why traffic doesn't only slow you down, but it takes more out of your race car to get back to the front to get in the position where he is now. But he's holding serve here with Connor Zilic. Seems to be maybe just getting back towards him a little bit here in the last lap. He was a little faster than Connor Zilic.
Just a little bit. They kind of trade their fast laps back and forth. See, we're catching lap car ahead of Connor Zilic. He missed the bottom right there just a little bit. See Love's just a tick lower on the exit of the corner. We heard Connor say earlier, look, I'm struggling in traffic. We'll see how he can do as they catch these lap cars.
Inside of 30 laps to go. We're here the rest of the way, commercial free. Thanks to Xfinity. Been that way the entire final stage.
And these drivers have really risen up for our commercial-free coverage here. I'll tell you what, this has been an awesome set of battles that we've seen here at the front. Classic Xfinity Series racing here at Phoenix.
Well, now I know what a long green flag run feels like. I mean, I'm used to getting breaks.
Jesse's been about 0.003 of a second a lap faster the last 3 or 4 laps with that lap traffic. His timing of the last car he had to pass was not very good. You saw him have to slide that car on the entry to turn 1, but it sure does look to me like consistently getting closer. You see both those guys using the apron into turn 3. The car gets flat, kind of helps it turn 10th quicker that last lap, Parker.
And when he gets closer, we talked about his entry speed. You see it so visibly into turn 3, where he just gets closer to the rear bumper of Connor Zilic. It's exactly what happened when he was racing the 7. Pretty low there, but watch him here down to 3. If he goes to the bottom again, it's like he gains just a little bit there on the entry and doesn't pay the price on the exit.
Well, again, very, very similar to what we saw in the last run, but with Allgaier out front. The 2-car, as we get into this run, 20 laps in, that entry speed is, again, continuing to pick up. And the fact that he can run wherever the 88 isn't tells you that car is just a little bit better, but he could not pass the 7 car. So he gets a big run right here down the backstretch. He's going to get to his inside.
Battle for the race lead, 25 to go. Jesse Love inside of Connor Zilic. Zilic hanging in that outside lane, but Love able to slide up in front of his best friend and take the top spot. He now controls the way to a championship.
And it's getting real now. We're 24 laps to go for the championship. I promise you, inside of that 2-car, all of that starting to register. No cautions. What do I need?
What a statement by Jesse Love. But for Connor Zilic, how do you respond right now? How do you take care of your right rear or right front, whatever one you're fighting the most, and see what he's doing and start to try to adjust? Move your brake bias. Use every tool you have inside that car right now. Under 25 to go for a championship. You've got to find something.
Well, and there he is. He's answering. You see right there, he started running high. We haven't seen him up there. We did hear him reference early in the race. He knew high and 1 and 2 was faster, but he thought it would use up too much tire. Who cares right now? Use up everything you have. You're racing for the championship. Tell you what, he's hanging with him better than I thought he would, based on how fast the 2-car had been the last few laps. Oh, it's so helpless inside the car when you're in his position. I like it, though. He's making this outside work.
And he's throwing entry speed at the corners right there. He's seen what the true Jesse Love's been able to do, getting to his rear bumper on the entry. You watch his hands. He sort of was flicking the car in right there. You see that flick, trying to get it turned earlier. Running all sorts of different lines, corner by corner, just trying to find something to get back towards. There's an adjustment on the brakes. He's liking this high line. And you have to do this. You just got to get clean air at this point. To your point about the tires, who cares? You got to go. You got to go, and you got to go where he is and find that clean air, find something that's going to work. He's keeping in touch, but he's just got to find something more than that 2 is doing.
Yeah, I mean, we're 20 laps left in the race. That's 10 minutes. It doesn't matter if you use your car up right now. You're racing for the championship. If the caution comes out, we're putting tires on anyway. Do what you can to stay with that 2 car.
I think about the swagger of Jesse Love prior to this race. And we saw him in his hauler, NASCAR's version of the locker room, if you will, earlier today. He was full of confidence. And I have to admit, when I saw him, I was a little bit worried. But I'm telling you what, he has used every ounce of that energy to come out and be successful here tonight.
Adam, think about all the work the families have put in leading into this. All these guys, when we talk to them, right there, you see Jesse's dad, the emotions. I can tell you as a dad, it's harder to watch than it ever was to be inside of the car because they've given everything for him to be here, and now he might go on to win the championship.
I ran into Connor Zilich's parents in the airport on the way here, and they were so visibly nervous about this weekend. You think about what the nerves of the drivers, but it's the families, as you mentioned, who are helpless, who want to see the success happen. Everything they put into these young men's careers, they want to see them vindicated with a championship, especially when you've had a season like Connor Zilich, and now you're this close to making it happen.
It's been so interesting to watch Love get the lead by running the outside, and then he immediately went to the bottom. Ooh, look at all that rubber fly out of the back of the 2 car right there. And now he's committed to the bottom, and we see the 88 start kind of working the top and running really good lap times.
And guys, as we watch Jesse Love, the race leader here, I've talked so much about he and Danny Stockman, the crew chief, and their relationship this year. I spoke to Danny about that earlier today, and he said, Jesse's like my kid. You know, we're really hard on each other. It's a unique dynamic, but I haven't had this type of relationship with the driver since Austin Dillon. By the way, worth reminding folks that Danny and Austin Dillon won a Truck Series championship and an Xfinity Series championship together. And that dynamic was showing itself again this weekend and earlier today. Danny was on Jesse pretty hard about some things he was doing, and he's got him back to the front. Their relationship and the strength of it is shining through in this moment, Kim.
And Connor Zilich trying to track down one of his best friends. And I asked Connor this morning, kind of, what will be the key to having a successful race tonight? He said, for me, I don't want to over-focus on what the other 3 championship guys are doing and forget about what I need to do myself. He also said he needs to make sure to dot all his I's, cross all his T's, because if they do lose this championship, he doesn't want it to be on him because of the mistake he made. He has been on his game all night, just has not had quite the car he's needed to do what he needs to do. Right now, spotter Josh Williams just keeping it as quiet as it can be on the radio, intermittently telling him to remain focused. There is still racing to go. You still have time to make things work, Dylan.
And the best thing for Jesse Love is just that this lap traffic is now starting to get in the mix and in the middle of this battle as Zilich starts to fade. They have reminded Love on the radio here just to make sure you save your stuff. They do have an extra set of tires, that's worth noting, but as we get down to it with 13 to go, we may not get that yellow. So Stockman and Brandon Benesh, the spotter who has been doing yeoman's work tonight, just coaching Jesse around this racetrack, have just been reminding Jesse, make sure you save something for us at the end of this race here if we need it. So they've done a good job here so far just to extend this lead, get Jesse to kind of a position where he can just cruise and manage his stuff. That's what he's been able to do, and that's what he is doing here with 13 laps to go as the gap over Zilich is now up to about a second. Watching the battle for second as well start to shape up behind Jesse Love. Eric Almirola, who of course is in the Owners' Championship fight, going to work on Connor Zilich there for the moment. You see the 88 out front of the windshield here of Almirola. this is a unique spot for Almirola as well. Not really sure what he's doing next year. There's been some rumors that this 19 car is going to go full-time with one driver. So Eric just wants to go out here and not only win a championship for his guys on the owner's side, but just have fun and enjoy this moment. He's enjoyed this year so much. Also, it's kind of a bonus year for him. He didn't expect to have as many opportunities as he did behind the wheel, and he's taken advantage of every opportunity he's got. He's been so strong here and runs in the 3rd spot with Zilich in his sights there just ahead of him.
Thank you, Dylan. No doubt about it. It's been a great playoffs for Eric Almirola, but coming to 10 to go, the focus is going to be at the front, and that would be with Jesse Love, whose advantage now is more than a second in front of second-place Connor Zilich.
Well, Love, obviously, is just praying for no cautions. He's done a great job managing his race, managing his tires throughout this run. You can see Zilich under attack from Eric Almirola. I feel so, I'm like so happy for his dad and also feel so bad. You see, he doesn't want to look at the monitor. Look at the intensity of all of them.
How could you? How could you watch right now? The only thing he doesn't want to hear is what Connor Zilich so desperately probably wants this time, and that is the word caution.
Absolutely.
9 laps to go. You know, his dad, Jesse's dad, raced with Jeff Gordon growing up. They're from California, and so the relationship was there as Almirola takes a peek for second.
For Connor Zilich, you see the championship slipping away right now. Trying to fend off Eric Almirola as well. Just hasn't quite had the long run pace. We've seen it all through the night. They made that big adjustment. They gave up time on pit road to do it. It just hasn't been enough. It's almost like for a long time in this season, the 88 looked invincible. And tonight, they just don't quite have it.
When you think about it, 10 wins, the 18 consecutive top 5 finishes, regular season champion. He went over 1,000 laps led for the season in this race here tonight, but fading late. 7 laps to go next time around.
Just keep in mind, though, we talked about this at the beginning of the race. The odds of a green-white checkered are huge. We've had it.
Last 4 races here have had an overtime finish.
Yeah, so.
We talk about the tools you can use in the race car right there. We heard Connor Zilich shifting down 3 and 4 as his pace has slowed down, just trying to find something, but to no avail to be able to catch that guy on the right side of your screen, Jesse Love.
It's so much fun and also so hard to watch.
The 70 there.
Jesse's dad.
Yeah, off the pace. Leland Honeyman. As we see 6 laps to go. I will say this. A week ago at Martinsville, it looked like this team might give up a 40-point advantage and not make it to the championship race. I mean, they had penalties. They had a bad qualifying run. They got a lap down. They scratched. They clawed. They kept themselves above that cut line. They made it to Phoenix. And once they qualified, the swagger was back. And they came here delivering a message. Outstanding yesterday in practice, and they have not backed off.
And I think for those in the series who have paid attention to Jesse Love at Phoenix, there was a lot who felt like if he could be a part of the championship 4, this might be the outcome. He's been so good here since his first time in Xfinity car here at Phoenix. For whatever reason, it fits his driving style. He told us this week, I know exactly what I want my car to do and how I want it to feel, and therefore I know exactly what to tell my race team. And we've seen that when they felt like they found something in the sim this week, it's showing up here tonight.
Think about what the 2 car has been through over the last 200 laps. They started this race, thought they had the best car based on practice, faded at the beginning. They looked like the worst car of the championship 4. They've made adjustments. The track has changed. Stockman's done an exceptional job. Jesse's kept his emotions in check. We talked about that at the beginning. And here he finds himself with a 2.5 lead and 3 laps to go for a championship.
It would be another championship for Richard Childress Racing at the Xfinity level. And I go back, 2000, Kevin Harvick driving the 2 car, wins Rookie of the Year. He too is from California. Comes back 2001, wins the championship. Jesse Love trying to follow suit. And there is Richard, the Hall of Famer. Boy, what a fun celebration it is when he is involved. Coming back to 2 laps to finish it here in Phoenix.
Less than a minute of racing for this guy. No cautions.
Jesse, you know, through this whole 2 to go lap is thinking, just get me to the white. You know, you just want to see that white flag. This has been a longer run for the Xfinity Series. Sometimes that can mean other cars having issues, but you just want to think and hope it's going to end clean.
And I hope he gets back to the white, that he can savor that white flag lap and what it means and all the hard work. All the hard work that the 2 team has put in this year and how special this moment it is for he and his family.
White flag in the air, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. This week he changed the screensaver on his phone to a picture of he and his dad working on his race car when he was a little kid. Jesse Love hoping to celebrate with his old man, and he's a half a lap away. Past his best friend to get the lead. It is a storybook ending. 20 years old from California, Jesse Love wins at Phoenix, and he is the 2025 Xfinity Series champion.
What a moment for that family.
baby! Steve, hell of a job. I can't believe. Congratulations, guys. Champion, son.
Look at his emotion inside that car.
Oh, yes. You're a champion, young man. You are a champion.
Jesse Love with a burnout, or as our friends at Pit Boss like to call it, the smokeout. Let it rip. You're the champ. Six drivers, the sixth championship, I should say, at the Xfinity level for Richard Childress Racing. 5 different drivers, 2 for Kevin Harvick, 1 for Clint Boyer. Austin Dillon delivered for his grandpa, and most recently Tyler Reddick in 2019. And Danny Stockman, a part of a pair of those, got the crown with Dillon in 2013.
So impressive what Danny Stockman has done with this race team the last 2 years, and this young driver, and molding him into a champion, and knowing that this was going to be a possibility. He felt from the beginning when they started working together he could be a champion, and has proved it here tonight.
He does what Tyler Reddick did in 2018. Win the season opener at Daytona. You don't win again, and then you get the checkered flag in the finale and claim your first title.
So happy for him. He worked so hard. What a moment right there with his crew chief. His dad's gonna have to leave those glasses on.
Indeed.
As I'm sure there's plenty of tears.
What a year for RCR. Got their 100th win earlier this season at Martinsville, but nothing trumps this. Celebrating a championship.
Good shit, brother. Fuck yeah.
Down here in Mobile One Victory Lane, Jesse Love embracing his dad, Duke. He's talked about the influence his father has had on him. His girlfriend Georgia's gonna come in for a kiss. Jesse Love, first-time champion. Congratulations, you are the NASCAR Xfinity Series champion for 2025. Jesse, this has been the dream. What does this mean for you? What is the emotion right now?
I feel so clean, you know, relieved. It's been a tough year for me, and man, I've just put so much work into it, and people like my dad and Scott Speed and my whole 2 team have worked just as hard for my dream as I have for my own. So, man, thank you to Wheelan. For one last time, this car was fast as Xfinity Mobile, and it really hasn't set in yet. I tried to just tune out all the emotion. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel real at all.
Let's talk about that pass over Connor Zilisch. We've documented the friendship between you two. You had to pass him, though, in order to win this championship. Walk me through that.
Yeah, he's my best friend in the whole world, but not when we're racing each other. And we race each other hard but fair. And yeah, I knew I had to take it there. I knew he was going to put on my door. I knew I had to throttle up and just try to get my nose ahead. So yeah, here it is. I mean, he was running a really good race. My car was just better tonight and allowing me to roll the center and get off the corner better. I knew he was tongue out and wanted this, and you know, hats off to the 88 team and Connor for all they've done this year. But tonight's about my guys. I can't even believe it, you know.
It wasn't necessarily an easy race. It was a little bit of a roller coaster. We didn't see you out front till the end there. How did you keep your head in the game?
We were so bad to start. I couldn't believe how bad we were. I mean, we were awful. And Danny put one of his magic wrenches in there and we came to life. So, man, I'm just so grateful for everybody at ECR, everybody back in Welcome, North Carolina, Marty Houston, all the boys, Chevrolet. I'm forgetting a laundry list of people, but this means the world to me and everybody that's been on this journey with me over the last few years and especially the last probably 8 months or so. I've really tried to just rebuild myself and come back better. So. I feel so just clean and relieved.
Congratulations, you've etched your name in the history books in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Thank you.
Woo!
They had the swagger, they backed it up, and Jesse Love is a champion.
You mentioned how hard he works, and you could see that, and all the people he mentioned, everyone that puts the effort behind becoming a race car driver at this level, and he mentioned all of them. And I've worked with him personally and seen that work ethic and how much he puts into this, and that's why you sense relief there for Jesse Love to have accomplished something so big.
I love the emotion. That's what makes NASCAR so awesome, is the work these guys put in, and to see the emotion from him and his dad, and obviously looking at Connor Zilisch right here, emotional as well.
Down to Dylan.
And it's a 3rd place finish in the race today, 2nd in the championship for Connor Zilisch. Know the emotions were obviously high. How do you evaluate tonight and ultimately just this season, despite coming up short of the ultimate goal?
Yeah, I mean, I came into the weekend and I told my entire team we got to give it our 100% this week, and as long as we walk out of this place knowing we did that, I'll be proud of us. So we did that today, and you know, we fought all day long and threw everything we had at it, but you know, unfortunately our WeatherTech Chevrolet, we just didn't quite have what we needed. But it doesn't take away from anything we've done this year. Our car's been as fast as Xfinity Mobile all year long, and I'm so proud of these guys. But yeah, I don't know, I guess the lights were too bright.
Experiencing the highs and lows of this moment, there were a lot of both. How much did all of that play into the emotion that you felt at the end of the day today?
Yeah, man, it's just you work all year long and you bust your ass for 33 weeks, and you know, I feel like we've done the best job we could all year long, and yeah, we just didn't have it today. So you know, I'm so proud of this team. We have nothing to hang our heads about, but yeah, this one's gonna sting.
Well, you can see how much it means. Ultimately, Connor Zilisch still puts together an incredible season, but one spot short the championship.
And I'm sure no consolation prize to him, but he will be awarded 2025 Rookie of the Year. His best buddy, Jesse Love, won the ARCA Championship 2023. When Xfinity Racing last year was Rookie of the Year, got to victory lane. Started out 2025 in great fashion, winning at Daytona. And tonight, when the lights were shining brightly, this 20-year-old from California got it done again. And tonight, that equals a championship trophy in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Congratulations, Jesse Love. More post-race reaction coming your way on CW. The 2025 NASCAR Xfinity Series season is complete. And the trophy will go to Jesse Love. Incredible rally late, passing his best bud, Connor Zilisch, and driving off to the checkered flag. It was the JRM3 and me, and Love said, I'll take the crown tonight. And when you beat Junior Motorsports here, you've done something, especially their leader. and that being Justin Allgaier, the reigning champ who came home 5th tonight, Kim.
That's right, Adam. And there were moments in the night where it looked like, Justin, you were going to repeat for championship. Where did the night get away from you in the 17?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that last pit stop there, we lost a little bit of track position, and just that last set of tires was really, really loose. And, you know, I think that's the hardest part, right? We made a really good adjustment on that first pit stop, and, you know, I wanted to send Jim Bowman off with another championship. I mean, he's been an amazing part of this journey and got me my championship last year. Just felt like we did all the right things tonight, and we still came out of here really short. So disappointing. Disappointed to see Xfinity go. You know, they've been a great partner for our sport for a long time, and we were as fast as Xfinity Mobile in the middle of the race, just not when we needed to be. But hats off to the whole 2 team. I mean, Jesse's did a great job. Danny and his whole team, you know, they were great. Connor obviously had a fantastic year. Just bummed the way that it ended, but still, we're so blessed to do this and be here. And I couldn't ask for a better team. So we'll move on and go to Daytona in the beginning of the year. And it seems weird this is the last one, but we'll go make the most of the offseason.
You touched on it, but you're parting ways with crew chief Jim Pullman. He's moving up to the Cup Series. As you think about your time together, how has he made you a better driver?
Oh, it's understated. I mean, he's developed me into a better person, a better human being, and just the prep work and how I see these races before they ever even start, right? It's a really important piece of this. And you know, I think, you know, mentally when you're in the game and you're prepared, you have all the tools you need, and he's been able to give me those tools. And you know, I told him earlier in the truck, we had a moment in the truck, and I said, you know, I'm most proud of you because you've proven to the world what you're capable of. It's gotten you the opportunity to go do what you're going to do, and I have no doubt they're going to make the most of it.
Justin Allgaier and this team finishing 5th, not quite enough though for that championship.
As we listen to all those interviews, I can't help but think about Jesse Love, who ended up winning, Connor Zilich, and Allgaier all got a taste of it tonight. They all thought at one point, tonight might be my night. And it's I think that's what makes it so emotional at the end is all of them had a shot.
I would also say, though, for Allgaier going for his 2nd championship, and he would have been the 10th driver to get multiple championships at the Xfinity level, and he's so deserving because he's such a great veteran, but he showed there what a great leader he is for his team and the series. And this year he hands the trophy over to Jesse Love. The driver from California claims the crown. Let's go to the championship stage now. Actually, we'll keep it here as he climbs out.
This is a great moment. Get
cool.
out.
The huge crowd there, all the photographers. It's a moment you look forward to.
Didn't need the steps. Here's Carla Metz.
And what an incredible race by Jesse Love, celebrating with his owner, Richard Childress. The 6th championship for RCR. Jesse Love gets it done. He's the 4th driver to win a championship from California. The 5th from RCR. And as Jesse gets the congratulations and gets his family settled and his team, I'm also joined on the stage now by Matt Lederer, the Vice President of Comcast and branded partnership in the last year for the Xfinity Series as the title sponsor. Also joined by NASCAR President Steve O'Donnell. And Steve, I think Jesse looks like he might want to get his hands on that trophy. Will you do the honors?
Yeah, first I want to say thank you to the folks at Xfinity and Matt for an incredible run. Jesse, we'll get Jesse's attention here. Incredible victory. You started off the season at Daytona. A bookend clutch victory tonight to win the 2025 Xfinity Series Championship. Richard Childress, the whole team, the folks at Chevrolet, thank you for representing our series in a great way. Bright future, and we're honored to have you as our champion.
Our way over here. Jesse, you've had a few minutes to let the emotion settle from your burnout to here. Does it feel real that you are the next Xfinity Series champion?
Okay, well, you saying that helped a little bit, but it still hasn't sunk in. The whole time I was like, just get ready for the caution. Just get ready for the caution. I couldn't believe it came out. I think my spotter, Brandon Manesh, was as shocked as anybody because we were all waiting for it. And man, I still can't believe it. I'm just so grateful for everybody on my car. My pit crew was just unbelievable tonight. They blanked everybody. And man, everybody that's touched a hand on this car to get us here, and everybody I've ever raced for in the past, just thank you 1,000 times over.
You told us earlier in the week Phoenix Raceway was one of your favorite racetracks. You had the most experience in NASCAR here with ARCA and the Xfinity Series together. How much of a favorite is this place now?
It's definitely still my second favorite to Dover. But man, I'll never forget my first time coming here watching Alex Bowman run the Tommy Baldwin car. Me and my dad were up watching the middle of 1 and 2 thinking, one day maybe we could just turn a lap around this place. And now we're Xfinity Series champions. It still doesn't feel real. I've never had a feeling like this before. Maybe because I've tried to see what it was going to feel like all week. And now that I'm here, I just can't believe it.
How big is the celebration going to be tonight?
I don't know. I can talk about it.
All right, let's talk about the celebration, at least with Richard Childress, the owner here. You certainly were not an underdog, but you were the lone wolf, the only non-junior motorsports driver in the championship field. How proud are you of your driver tonight?
Yeah, I'm just proud of our whole team, our whole company. Everybody put so much in this. Jesse just did such an awesome job all night. We struggled at Martinsville, but he came back today and showed what we're made of. Proud of them all.
RCR, iconic to the sport and just everything that you've been able to do in the Xfinity Series. This is your 6th championship. What does this mean to this team and for RCR as a whole?
It means so much for everyone. Willing that's been behind us, Jesse's from the start, have our sponsor doing it, and all the people that supported us. Just a great evening for everyone. Good to be happy.
Let's go ahead and get Danny Stockman. He's on the phone right now. Can we interview you? What's the emotion right now? We know how hard you and the two team have worked all year long, but what does this feel like right now?
It's just special. You spend your whole life and you spend every day trying to make these cars turn left fast. And we've been working on this piece for about a month and a half, and we spent a lot of time at the GM simulator. And when it all comes together like it did this weekend, it's very special. And there's a lot of people that I got to thank. First off, Wheeling and RCR for having me back. I spent 12 years of my life there. I love Richard and Judy to death, and it's just special. Danny Lawrence, everybody that believes in me to do this, and especially Jesse Love for just flat getting up on the wheel and getting the job done tonight. So thank you to all the race fans out there for coming out and supporting us. I hope you enjoyed that show.
We've enjoyed your communication between you and Jesse on the radio all season long. Describe your relationship with this guy and then how this championship cements that.
Man. He's my kid. I mean, I just truly enjoy raising these kids up to being something special, and he's another one. I've had the pleasure to work with some really good race car drivers over the years, and Jesse's right up there with one of the specialist ones. We have a special bond that not too many people get to endure in their life, and when it all comes together like it did tonight, it's just super special. Last week we struggled really bad in Martinsville. We put that behind us, and I just had a feeling when I woke up Monday morning that we were going to come here and dominate like we did. And we had the best car in practice. We qualified decent. The first run of the race had me caught off guard, but we worked on it, and he got up on the wheel, and we got it done. So it's pretty awesome.
Congratulations. The moment feels just as big as imagined for this two-team tonight. Jesse Love, your 2025 Xfinity Series champion.
Carla, it's interesting to me. You talk to Danny Stockman, you see Danny Lawrence down there, you visit with Richard Childress. They're all blue collar, just throwback, old school. And it's a 20-year-old surfer from California that delivers them the trophy. That's pretty cool.
And he fits in there. When he came into RCR, I mentioned his work ethic, you could tell, but he's just a racer at heart, and that's a special bond. No matter where you come from, your upbringing, if you love racing, if you're willing to dedicate your life to it, to put in the work and the effort that it takes to be at this level, let alone win a championship like Jesse Love has tonight, that's a respect that, as racers you can have for anyone that comes in and tries this, because it's so hard. You heard that from Danny Stockman, the amount of effort he boiled it down to making these cars turn left real fast. So that's simplifying a little bit, but it really is something that just consumes you. And therefore, if you're willing to try and do this, let alone actually make it to this level, you have a major respect for that.
Now more championship reaction. We go back down to Dylan Welch.
Well, it's a 13th place finish on the racetrack tonight for Carson Kvapil, but still in the fight for the championship 4 ultimately all night tonight. No, it didn't end how you wanted it to, but how would you sum up just this whole experience of getting to race for the ultimate prize in the Xfinity Series?
Yeah, I mean, I can't be thankful enough for everybody that gave me this opportunity. Johnny Morris, Bass Pro Shops, Clearance Technologies, Logistics, Roto-Rooter, Carolina Carports. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few, First Bank of Alabama, but just can't thank everyone enough that jumped on board this season and made this all happen. Obviously, it's a little tougher for me to get this opportunity, and I need some people behind me, and I just can't thank all of them for that, and everyone over at JRM for what they do to give me this opportunity. But I don't know, we just fought a little bit of a handling all day, and the first stage we had our hands full, but we drove up from 14th to almost 5th, and we finished 6th there, and I thought we were gonna have a really good chance at it. Just didn't seem like we made it any better from there on out, and it seemed like the other people were able to make their stuff faster and better, and it was just a struggle on that end. But just can't thank all these guys enough for what they do to give me a car as fast as Xfinity Mobile, and can't thank Bass Pro Shops and Johnny Morris and Clearance Technologies. It was cool to have all those guys out here today and supporting us trying to win the championship. So hopefully next season it can be a few spots better, and hopefully we can be in the Final Four again to have this opportunity. But it was a fun run, and I had a really fun rookie season.
And I know that this year had its challenges simply because Connor was your teammate and he was having such a great rookie year, but your performance in making the championship 4 earned you a full-time ride next year. How does that make you feel when you look back on things?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's really what like we said, that they got us the opportunity to run again next year, and we were going to be part-time, which was going to be cool, and we were going to try to fill it out with a maybe backparker team or something, and just make it all happen. But once we were able to advance to the Final Four, we were able to get the funding to make it full-time next season, whether it's in a few cars or in one. Either way, I'm going racing full-time, and I'm happy, and I'm racing with JRM, so that's the main goal. But like I said, I just can't wait to go hopefully do this again on repeat and just a few spots better next year.
A great rookie campaign for Carson Kvapil. Comes up a little short tonight, but nothing to hang their head about.
Yeah, no doubt. A nice statement made for him in the latter part of the season. Your reaction to what they accomplished on the balance of the year?
Well, I think tonight, really what you saw from the beginning, the first stage, it looked like, hey, he's really coming to play, and they were going to recover from that qualifying behind some of the other Champ 4. But where they really went awry, I feel like, was you saw in the pits, multiple stops that just weren't quite to the level of their competitors there. You saw how good the two teams' pit crew was. I think when they look at tonight, they'll see they probably had a car that was competitive, but once you start giving up track position, they just couldn't get there.
Let's get more championship reaction with Carla.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, I'm here with Jesse Love's dad. Duke Love, we saw the emotion that you had on the pit box watching your son wrap around this place, trying to get that championship. What were the emotions? What were your thoughts as he was running those last few laps?
Carla, if I'm being honest with you, I was just praying for the last 20 laps. I don't think I saw the last 20 laps. I didn't look up. It was an absolute, to say it's a dream come true is a cliche. When you're racing at this level, all these drivers, they all start off in quarter midgets or go-karts. They're 5 years old. And so as their dad, you're bringing them up. So when you have a night like tonight, that's 15 years of culmination coming together, all in about a white to a checkered flag lap. It's impossible to process, to be honest with you, but just so proud of this RCR team. Jesse wanted to win this for Richard. He really wanted Richard to have this championship. They're very, very close, very tight, and he wanted to bring it home for him. And to see him to be able to do that is just, it's a beautiful night, Carla.
Jesse told us earlier this week that he had a picture of you and him. This is you can see it on the screen right here, but he set that as his screensaver on his phone all week long to remember kind of the beginnings of his racing career, how involved you were. What does that mean that he was able to do that and wanted to think of that moment before getting to this championship race?
Carla, that picture means the world. It means the world to not only me, but his mother, his sister. Bringing a driver up through the ranks as a father, as a family, is literally like standing next to a black hole. Everything goes into it. Everything. Time away from family, time away from his sister, time away from your marriage at home. Everything goes into that. So to have a son that recognizes what his family has done for him and keeps it so close to his heart, that means we've done our job right. But myself, his mother, his whole family.
Congratulations. Go celebrate with your son, Adam. Of course, you can tell it was a full family effort for the two teams tonight.
What a perspective from Jesse's father, Duke. And those stressful moments late. And when he goes back and watches, he'll feel the anxiety again. But he can rest easy knowing that his son is a champion. The season is over, but our coverage is not. More coming your way after a break. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series from Phoenix, live on CW.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Make way for the new kings.
We are the new kings, winning this fight tonight with our name lit up in lights. We are the new kings, this is our time to shine, set it off like dynamite.
Address the court from the throne newly minted. Crown adorn the dome, you want it, come and get it. We'll remember one thing.
We are the new kings, winning this fight tonight with our name lit up in lights. We are the new kings, this is our time to shine, set it off like dynamite.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.